All right, then. So let's go ahead and bring up this frequently asked section, FAQs. So let's create that section. So instead of doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply copy it from here, copy it, paste it, and here I'm just going to say FAQs, questions and answers. This is going to be FAQ. Save it and let's check it out. So still it's looking the same. We have to bring this guy, these things, we have to delete these two, bring it over here. Instead of grid, we have to make this as flex column, item center, justify everything center, save it. That's how it looks. And for this width, of course, full, but medium device width needs to be 3/4. Text needs to be center, just like that. Then we need to bring this Accordion section. All right. So let's do that now. So for that, what we need to do is, basically, I'm just going to create a div. Okay. So class name, which is going to be space y of 4, and of course width, of course it should take the available width of full. Okay, and then inside here, so we have to bring that FAQ item, the frequently asked items. So let's create a div class name, which is going to have a border, and of course rounded needs to be LG, and overflow needs to be hidden, and border color should be gray 200. Padding, of course, it's going to be 2. Width, of course, it's going to be 4. Let's check it out. How does it looks? Okay, it looks like that. Full and medium device onwards with 3/4. Margin top, it's going to be 8. We need some space. Otherwise, margin top and bottom, we need some space. Perfect. Now, inside this division, inside this div, that's the one, I'm going to bring a button of the type of button itself. Then for this button, I'm going to have an on click event, which is going to be the toggle action. Okay, and I'm going to supply this parameter inside that toggle action function. Then for this button, I'm going to have a class name. Of course, this should be the width full, and the text needs to be on the left side. Okay, then of course padding px, it's going to be 6, py, it's going to be 4, flex justified between items needs to be on the center, bg needs to be white color, and whenever I'm hovering it, bg needs to be gray 100. Then cursor needs to be the pointer. Okay, save it. Now you should be able to see a button inside here. See, just like that. Then inside this button, I'm gonna bring a span tag. Inside this span tag, I'm just going to say how to download the app. That's the first question. That's a frequently asked question. Very first question, span tag. Then right after here, I'm gonna bring an icon, the chevron icon, just like this. Okay, but for that, I'm gonna have one more icon, one more class name, which is going to be this Accordion icon. So far we don't have this Accordion icon, nothing, but what we have to do is we have to keep this icon in order to change their in order to rotate it. So that's the reason I'm adding. So transition transform, and duration it's going to be 300 because we need the smooth transitions for that. Okay, Now we have that. Then right after this button, I need to bring the content. So dot Accordion content. This is the class which we are creating for that Accordion. And px it's going to be 6, py it's going to be 4, text gray it's going to be 600. Then it should be hidden by default. So we can simply say a lower ipsum just for the dummy text. So right now you can't see that, right? So right now we can't see that. Now in order to make this to work, we need the script. So I'm going to create myself a new file called main.js, and I have to link that right after here. Script src dot slash assets.js main.js. Okay, now inside here, I'm going to create myself a function, which is going to be this callback function, this toggle action. Copy this, const toggle action, which is going to be an arrow function. So I'm going to access that button, btn, whatever the button which is coming inside, I'm going to access. Then const content, it's equals to content, it's equals to button dot next element sibling. We're going to access the next element sibling for this button. So if you check it out, this button, what is the next element sibling? We do have this content next sibling element, which is that content, right? We're going to access it. Then const icon is equals to we're going to access the query select using the query selector. I'm going to access this particular icon dot icon. Then const is open is the state. If not, content dot class list dot contains the hidden. If it doesn't contain, then what is that? We need to use that state in order to switch between. So using the document object, document dot query selector all of this Accordion content. We need to access all that Accordion content. Then dot for each of those Accordion content, I'm going to access the element. Then element dot class list dot add, I'm going to add the hidden. Oops, wait a second. So I need to add the hidden instance. Then I need to access the every Accordion icon. Then for each and every icon, I'm going to access the element. Then that element dot style dot transform is equals to rotate. Okay, that is the duty of this function. Then what I need to do is, if it is not open, if the function is not, if the state, if it is not open, then content dot class list, we need to remove that hidden. Then icon dot style dot transform is equals to rotate 180 degree. 180 degree. Okay, so here this is should be rotate 0 degree. This is how it should be. Okay, so now let's check this out. And if I click this, you can see it's working. If I click that again, it will be disabled. Okay, so that's the reason we do have that. So just like the same way, all I have to do is to keep on copy this, how many questions you want, just add them. That doesn't matter how many questions you are adding. You can see it will open perfectly. That just a simple JavaScript questions, just simple JavaScript. Basically, we are accessing the icon and we are accessing the content. If that content is opened, that means we need to hide it. If it is not open, then we need to open it. That is what we are doing it. Everything is happening because of this parameter, because using this parameter only we are accessing that button next sibling element. So then we are triggering it. That's the most important thing over here. Right, so we successfully finished the that Accordion section, which means the frequently asked question sections. So let's move on to the next one, which is the testimonial section.